out more to the student ASB.
For being in
At least 1 year, both inside.
And there's a substantial number of students at Beverly who aren't involved in anything. How would you guys plan or promote events to cater for everyone at this school?
So basically, I feel that the main reason why some students don't come to these events is because they have like a negative attitude towards these events. Maybe their ideas weren't represented in these events, so maybe rather than ASB planning these events by themselves, we could ask the student body what they would like to see in these events.
I think to get them more involved is to get their ideas on the events and see what types of events would be fun for them and would make them excited to come to school other than just to learn. And I think that we should go to the classes and get their input on what events they would like for us to plan. Like, they should be the ones directing us, and we'll make it happen for them.
And then my final question is, what is one important change that you would say you've made at the school? Just one example during your past 2 years here.
I think that I've gotten people more excited about events, even though people are still negative and the spirit is not where it should be. Being in ASB this year, especially with my friends and the people that I see day to day, I try and get them excited and more involved in school events.
Yeah, through involvement in various activities, I was able to get the student body more involved in not just ASB-sponsored events, but clubs as well. And I, during my ASB or during freshman year, I was also able, just like Maddie said, I was able to get like the student body excited about these various events, and hopefully that continues.
Very good. So those were our two presidential candidates. You guys will stay up here. We're going to call on to the next two candidates to come onto the stage now. Jonathan, while they come up, can you describe the different roles of ASB that they are running for today?
Sure. So Noah Kaiserman is running to be our next ASB Junior Treasurer, whereas Penelope is running to be our ASB Junior Vice President. And these two positions are really crucial in terms of the structure of the class. The treasurer has an important role in raising money for the class, money that'll go towards important senior functions. For example, senior breakfast, senior sunset, prom. These are all activities that, depending on how well our students raise money in previous grades, they'll either have more robust events, less expensive events, depending on the success of the treasurer. So that's a really crucial position. At the same time, our vice president has an important role in supporting the students in her grade. She'll have the opportunity to lead her peers and inspire those beneath her and try to create a direction for her class, something that it's one thing to go about a certain task, but it's another to create a direction for the future of the school.
Very good. Thank you, Jonathan. And Jamie, why do you think it's important to have these debates to showcase the candidates?
Yeah, I think it's really important to have these debates to make sure that these candidates can really connect with the student body, and it gives them a more transparent way to promote their ideas and their platforms to people who eventually vote for them.
Very good. Thank you, Jamie. So now we're going to go to the opening statements from our new two candidates. Noah, you'll be going first. Again, you have 30 seconds.
Okay, well, hi guys, my name is Noah Kaiserman, and I'm going to be running for treasurer. And so I have had a year of experience in ASB, and I've had to say I had a good time increasing the spirit of other people in this school. It's been a lot of busy work, but I have to say I still enjoy it in the end. And my goal is to make this school a place where people want to go to have fun, rather than a place to just kind of do school and leave and go home. Yeah.
I am Penelope LaPaglia, and I am running for Junior Vice President. I am extremely organized and driven, and I feel like this is what is going to make me a great fit for this position. I am good at keeping people on track and delegating work and working with people to get the job done. I'm also really passionate about unifying the student body and making sure that everyone's voice is heard.
Great. And now we'd like to move into some focused questions for each position. And why don't we start with the treasurer? So Mr. Kaiserman, how specifically do you plan to raise money for your class account and for the student government as a whole? What are some specific steps and actions you can take to accomplish those ends?
Well, basically last year being my first year, to be honest, I didn't know too much about the treasurer position and how to raise money, but I think I'm slowly learning about the position, and I plan on doing certain sales that people in other classes have done so far. I've learned that people do cookie sales, chip sales, all that stuff for events, and I plan on doing stuff like that in the future.
Great.
We'll let Jonathan, you want to ask?
Sure. And for our vice president, you know, it's crucial, as I said earlier, that the vice president develops a vision for the future of the school. So given that, looking at the current landscape of the school, what's your vision for ASB, for student government, for the junior class a year from today?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, if you had to develop, what's your vision for the future of your class? If you had to implement changes and create create a vision for what your ASB, your junior class, would look like a year from now, what kind of what form would that take?
I would love for the thank you for explaining. I would love for the junior class to be a lot more unified, and I think that the best way to do this is by bringing events that the students are actually passionate about, and a lot of events that students are passionate about come from the community. And so I think that if the junior class and the entire student body could work more with the community on student activism events, I feel like this would really unify our school.
Okay, so I guess this is for everyone. So what is a constant goal that you've wanted to meet, maybe as a student or just like a community member that hasn't been met yet, and how would you use your role as an ASB member to overcome those challenges?
I'll start. So my goal is that when we have events in ASB, I want it to be that everyone in the school goes and they all talk about it and enjoy it. And yeah, like just look forward to it for every year. Like this year we had Color Wars, which I think was an example of the goal that I envisioned, which was a success. And that's what I feel like should be the goal for every year, events like that. Yeah.
I think one thing that we need to work on as a school is the school morale and the spirit, because everyone thinks so negatively of the events and going to see like sports games that are other than basketball. Like nobody wants to support each other really, and I think the goal for this year is to make everyone more unified and to just increase the school morale and get people excited about like being together and having fun.
During my first year of high school, I didn't participate as much in school events because I was unaware of how fun they would be. But then when I was in ASB, throughout the process, I learned how much fun these events were, and hopefully throughout the years, I'll be able to get the student body more involved.
I feel a great way to make our events stronger is by having students understand what the events are more and why we're having them. And like Lewis talked about a lot before, I feel that publicity is a really important thing. I know when I was a freshman, I thought that ASB was just the little sticker that you got on your card. So I think by really just being nicer to people and having ASB be more approachable, I feel like we could have a greater turnout.
Very good. So a big topic that you guys have all been discussing today, a major theme has been increased morale in the events we have here. What is one specific way that you will go about publicizing or getting more student involvement in the events? And we'll start with you, Penelope.
Okay. I feel like social media is a really great tool to make sure that people are updated, and I also think that the Norman Update and morning announcements are a great way to get news out, along with flyers and banners.
Like Penelope said, Norman Update is a great way to inform the student body. Also, like I mentioned earlier, I think we should have a suggestion box where students will be able to provide their input on what they look forward to in these events. And if their ideas are applied to these events, I feel that more students will participate.
Sorry, Louis, if I could follow up. So what is one specific way you would go to publicize, as opposed to getting suggestions, publicizing the event?
Publicity, I feel like a lot of people are on social media these days, and through social media we could communicate with the student body.
Thank you.
Yeah, like they both said, social media. This year, the sophomores in ASB, we created an Instagram, which I think helped people like see what was going on more. And I think just more by doing that will help. And also for Color Wars, we took a different kind of approach with the posters and stuff, and everyone was like wondering like, oh, what is this? What is this for? And they started asking questions and became more interested. So I think if we do more of that next year, it'll really help publicize the events.
Okay, so while I believe that social media does help a lot, I think that actually going out to the students and reaching out to them, speaking to them ourselves, will go a long way into showing them that we actually believe that these events will be fun rather than just a simple post giving information about the event.
So to clarify on that, you're saying that each of the ASB members would go up to people now and just tell them to go to the events?
Yeah, just their peers. Just let them know that they believe it will be a good time.
Very good. Thank you, Noah.
That was not
There are a substantial number of students throughout the school and a substantial number of significant student groups that often feel lost or out of place. For example, we have students who are new to the district, new to the school, students who are in the special ed program, who often aren't involved in ASB events, and that's what do you see as the biggest failings on ASB's part in terms of incorporating these students in our events? And specifically, what programs do you feel you would be able to implement to be able to incorporate these students into the culture of the school and make ASB more representative of a diverse array of student groups? Why don't we start with Penelope?
Okay. So I feel that by reaching out and going and talking to people face to face is a really important thing. Instead of, like Noah was touching on, instead of just sending out a post, being more personal and going up to people and approaching them, asking them why they aren't coming, or accompany them yourself, like go and take them to the events and be their buddy for the day. And then I feel that if they go to one of these events and then they realize that they're actually fun, they'll be more motivated to come to the next ones, and then they can bring their friends, and I feel like this would be a great way to increase involvement.
I feel that sometimes ASB focus on the more like well-known students in the school, and sometimes it's a little exclusive, I feel, to like special education students and those types of groups. I feel that ASB members, they should develop a friendlier relationship, like a personal relationship with these student groups, and these personal relationships will help them feel more inclusive.
But beyond individual connectedness, because one person can absolutely approach individual people in other groups and encourage them to come to events, but what are some actions that you can take to structurally change the way ASB reaches out to these groups and involves them and solicits their input?
I feel that ASB members, they should just reach out to a wider variety of students rather than just a select group of people, and yeah, I feel that that would help improve the student body.
Yeah, I think that like right now ASB just focuses on like the bigger groups on campus, and I feel that if we reached out and went to like the classes that have the special ed students in them and like make sure that they know that like everyone is welcome, and because maybe sometimes they may feel that they're not wanted at the events. But if you go and like assure them that like everyone is like welcome to come and participate and have fun and have a good time, then they'll feel better about it and won't hold back or like hesitate to coming to the event and participating themselves with their friends.
Mm-hmm. So I think we do need to reach out because most kids at the school have come from the 4 major middle schools. So the people who don't, I feel like would be really left out and feel like they want to be a part of like a friend group. So I think we could have a club where people who didn't really go to the 4 middle schools can go socialize if they feel like they want to meet new people. And I also think that we should reach out, like these other 3 people said.
Okay, great. And then just one more question. So, like, safety regulation is a big topic these days. So how would you work closely with admin to create a more efficient, safer environment for school for the students? And then how would you make sure that students are getting used to these regulations?
Well, I think the fence was a pretty good idea, and I think it's being enforced well. Students aren't able to go out. People have been cracking down on the rules about making fake passes and stuff. So far, I think it's going well. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree with Noah. I think that what they've done so far has been working, but I have seen that throughout the day that there isn't like a security in front of the gate and the gate is just open. So I think that we should be like more strict about it and make sure that like someone is there at all times, because you never know what can happen. Like even if you're not there for like 2 minutes, like something can happen.
Like Noah and Maddie said, I feel that the fence was very successful. It does improve the safety of the students. But also, like Maddie said, I feel like the security should be more present in some areas and times so that the safety could be improved.
Yes, I agree. I think that the fence was a wonderful addition, and that I just think that we need security to be upped a little bit. And however, I also think that safety doesn't just come from a fence or from an ID scanner. I think that safety comes from having a student body of compassionate people. I think that would also really improve our well-being. So I don't think that safety is just about the walls. I think it is also about what's inside.
And as a follow-up to that, a lot of the suggestions you guys just put forward, you would have to work with the administration to put in place. ASB itself would not be able to get more security there. How would you work with administration to get your ideas implemented and in place? Noah, we can start with you.
Well, I think it's just simple communication. I think we have to let them know that the general opinion of the student body needs to be heard, and just kind of make sure they know that.
And you talk to them. Would you individually go up to each administrator and tell them this, or would you implement a new structural idea system, or how would you go about that?
Well, I feel like going up to them, letting them know how the students feel would go a long ways, but I think getting organized things, such as Penelope had her walkout, I think that had a huge effect, so I think that would work too.
I think to work with admin, maybe we could have a meeting with some of the members in ASB to voice ASB's opinion on the safety, and just tell admin that the students at the school how they're feeling and that they don't feel safe, and that is an issue. Not feeling safe at school is not okay, and the admin would be very compassionate and they would work with us if we just simply tell them how we're feeling.
I feel that working with admin is very crucial to the safety of the student body. I feel that just like Maddie said, kind of having meetings, maybe monthly meetings where ASB discusses their new ideas with the administration will be really nice.
I personally think that we have a really great administration. I've worked with them before, and I think that they're really helpful, and I think that by holding these meetings would be a great way to make the student body's concerns be heard, and in a very efficient way.
Mm-hmm. And think, we've heard a number of ideas today, a number of promises to the people who are ultimately going to be voting for you, but it's important at the same time to keep ourselves accountable and ensure that whatever we promise is practical. So specifically, what will you do as a closing to our debate to make sure that you are held accountable for everything you have said here today? And why don't we start with Noah?
Well, I think it's fair to say that you can expect my effort going in during class and out of class, and you'll also expect me to be keeping track of my class's money, and you'll be expecting a lot of fundraisers and sales on my part.
For me, you can expect that I'll be trying very hard to boost the school morale, because that's an issue, a big issue in my opinion. And I'm just going to try and reach out more to students and get their opinions and ideas on what we need to work on the school.
I hope that I'll be able to represent the voices of the students, and I'll work diligently to make sure every student's voice is heard. I'll work out of ASB and in ASB to make sure the students will have a good experience.
As far as being held accountable goes, I feel that I'm always really good at following through with my ideas. However, I'm not opposed to constructive criticism, so if anyone were to come up to me and say that I was not doing this, that, or the other thing as adequately as maybe I should be, I would be completely open to receiving that constructive criticism to improve my role.
Well, thank you all very much for coming today and presenting your ideas in front of us. Thank you to my fellow moderators for asking such great questions. And you have been watching the junior debate here on KBEV6.com and on Channel 6 in Beverly Hills. You can learn more about the candidates with their bios at BeverlyHighlights.com. Make sure to vote on Juno next week, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the senior debate. I'm Noah Danesh, and thank you for watching. Good afternoon, live from KBEV Studios in Beverly Hills High School. Welcome to the 2018 Senior Debate. Today's debate is hosted by KBEV Highlights and ASB. The participants today are candidates for next year's Senior President, Vice President, Treasurer, and Representative. The questions were created by ASB, highlights in KBEV, and have not been shared with the candidates. I am Noah Donish from KBEV.
I am Maya Yosef, Hydro President.
And I am Jason Harvard, Editor-in-Chief of Highlights. And we are your moderators for today's debate.
We will begin with Wesley Wu and Rebecca Newman. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will begin with your opening statements and then move on to questions. So whenever you're ready, we're going to start with Rebecca. You have 30 seconds.
Okay. Hi guys, if you don't already know me, my name is Rebecca Newman, and I feel that through all my extracurriculars and experiences with the student body that I can bring a fresh perspective to ASB this coming year. Being an outsider to ASB only makes me more determined and more passionate in bringing new ideas and becoming your senior president. My main goal is to make our last year in high school the best that it can be. This means planning more bonding events such as movie nights on the field, a senior bonfire, and scavenger hunts. But I also, of course, want to hear your thoughts and opinions. At the end of the day, I just know that I can make senior year the best one yet.
Very good. Now to you, Wesley.
Good afternoon. My name is Wesley Wu, and I'm running for senior president. I believe I would be a great senior president because for the past 3 years, I've been ASB helping plan and create many successful events like Homecoming Tailgate, Winter Informal, Color Wars, and the most recent UCLA Blood Drive. I believe with all these 3 years of experience, I'll be able to help plan new ideas, new events that any of my peers would like. Talk about a few of my goals. One of my goals is to at least improve communication. I think improving communication between ASB, the students, and administration will better create less resentment and also create a happier environment at our school.
Very good. Thank you guys very much. So we'll start off with Maya.
Yeah, I'll start with the first question. So guys, there are a lot of people at Beverly that aren't involved in anything on campus. They just come to school and leave. How do you plan to get input from them and get them to come to events and participate in school activities?
Okay.